Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by Money Stocks. Today is Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. My name is Nick Santiago. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. All right, we have the S&P 500 E-mini futures trading down by 9.25 points to 28.89 per contract. All in all, the futures have been really down around 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Then they've upticked a little bit, now pulling back in. So we'll see what today brings. Yesterday we got what we call a little bit of a holiday hangover after the Labor Day holiday. We had light volume yesterday. We'll see what we get today. Volume should start to pick up, especially if we start to see some backing and filling and some pullbacks in the major stock indexes. But let's get started with the news, and let's get started with the stocks in the news, because that's where we're going to try to make some money. First stock we're going to look at today is going to be Restoration Hardware. Ticker symbol is RH. Stock closed at 151.28. It is now trading at 146.90. Did briefly trade below 140 yesterday after the closing bell. I'm going to say if this stock gets down to 132, 133, down there is where I would start to look for some pretty good support. There also is very good support around the 125, 126 level, and then you have a very good support around 120. So there are a lot of levels here. So we're going to have to wait and see what this stock does, if it can trade down, but it can be a big mover. It's very, very thin normally. Usually trades less than 1 million shares a day on average, and that can be a whipsaw type stock. So be careful with Restoration Hardware, but it is in play. Let's take a look at Workday, WDAY. This stock right now trading at 151.61, closed at 156.69. The stock has been a big winner in 2018. The only problem is it's just too overbought and extended. So it did pull back today. It is pulling back now. We'll see how this one plays out. I think there's still a fair amount of support right where we are currently trading around 151. But we'll look at this one once the opening bell rings. There could be some levels lower. I'm going to have to work on them, but we're going to see need to see more of a decline in this name. But this will be on our radar today. Let's take a look at HDS. Stock right now is trading at $46, closed at $45. This is HD Supply. They're up after earnings by about a point. It really had a nice spike earlier, but that has faded. So again, I'm not thinking there's a whole lot more upside to this name. So if you own this one, trail your stop loss immediately. If you don't own it, I would leave it alone. Let's take a look at VRA, which is Vera Bradley. Stock right now is trading at 16 bucks, closed at 14.29. This is an excellent pop for this name. Now, when I look at this name at the moment, I don't think it goes much past the 17.25, 17.5 level. I think there's very good resistance there. So keep that on the radar. 17.25 probably should mark pretty good resistance or anywhere close to that level. This is another light volume stock. It does not trade 1 million shares a day. Probably trades around 200,000 on average. So these things do have overshoot potential. You got to be careful when you're trading these light volume names. Let's take a look at Coupa Software. COUP is the ticker symbol here. This stock hasn't been around all that long, but it's been a pretty good winner. Closed yesterday at $72, now trading at $81.75. Got as high as 84, so that looks to be a little bit of a ceiling there. Again, great move for the stock. If you own it, trail the stop loss. If you don't own it, really don't do much with it here. Let's take a look at CSX today. They were downgraded. This is a railroad play. Stock right now is trading at 73.81, closed at 74.84. So you got a little bit of a haircut there. I'm not seeing a whole lot to do here right off the bat, but we will keep this one on the radar today. When I look at the intraday charts, I do think there's probably a decent amount of support around this general vicinity, even more around the $73 area. So we'll keep it on the radar. We'll see where we go. Next up, we have CAL, which is Calorays. And what you're going to see here is the stock is trading at $36.48, closed at $40.36. This is coming off of a severe overbought condition. Again, they had earnings. I don't think the earnings were terrible, but again, it was just a very overbought equity. Stock right now has very good support around the 31 level if it gets there. I don't think it gets down there right away, but if it does, we'll keep it on the radar. Next up, we have RHI, which is Robert Half. They were pretty much sliced in half this morning after a Goldman Sachs downgrade. Stock closed at $78.78. It is now trading at $75.40. There's not a lot of volume here, so let's not make too much out of it. I think there's very good support if it gets down to $71 today. So keep that on the radar. That could be a play. Next up, we want to take a look at the gold market. Gold is up $2 today. That means that the US dollar index is probably flat to negative. If you take a look at the GLD, you'll see that's trading at 113.16. Spot gold trading at 1201.20. Next up, we have crude oil in play. Crude oil today down 87 cents. This is getting hit. Yesterday morning, crude was up $1.45. Once people realized that the hurricane was not going to hit any oil rigs in the Gulf, you've seen the price decline quickly. Right now, crude oil trading at $69 a barrel. If you take a look at the USO, you'll see here this is trading at $14.51, closed at $14.58 yesterday. Again, we'll be looking at this and more once the opening bell rings. If you have not done so, we've had a great 2018. Come on over, take that 7-day free trial to the intraday stock chat room. You could trade right alongside of us. Volatility is just starting to creep back in. And again, we have the futures down 9 points this morning. Should give us some nice early morning trade action out here. With that being said, everybody, I'm going to leave it here short and sweet. I want to wish you all a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts.